In a rima,
fans heard of my parang band. 2000 flock the grandstand. The welcome was the MC when he introduced me. People jumping like carnival to my rendition of Serenal.
Alpagata, alpagata.
Uno rum, uno parata. Maria, 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 mi corazón. From Port of Spain to Faizabad, everybody know crazy mad. Maria, 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 mi corazón. Then the crowd went wild. I sang on the birth of the child. My next song, an Aguinaldo with good rhythm and fast tempo. Please break down a second time to see this parang singer wine. Muchachita, vamos baila, Maria.
Yeah, no, I listening. I forgot to talk. Welcome to episode 205. Welcome to episode 205 of the Corey Shepherd Podcast. Welcome to the Christmas. It's Christmas time yet? We smack dab in the middle of December. Just so. School closed. Children home. They eating out of house and land. What we doing about the What we doing about the Christmas groceries? Because it's a recession. U.S. money hard to find. You know, what we having a hardship kind of Christmas? What we having a Christmas, a bountiful Christmas, or we having a scrunter kind of Christmas? what kind of Christmas we gearing up for? I want to know, you know. One of my favorite Christmas tunes, before I get, there's some topics. To be honest, I listened back to the last few episodes and I realized, but wait, it's about a month since me I talk about nothing. So we gonna catch up on it today, but I couldn't really do it without having some Christmas tune lineup, right? Because I promise people, not even just promise. People know by now that I would have done switching to Christmas mode already, but they have it up and down and all over the place. And I have a few special ones to play for you for this episode, for 205, right? What better place to start than here?
Time of the year, most people start to prepare. Unconsciously we sing the refrain. Christmas is here once again. Anxiously your paws start to raise. The radio say 10 more shopping days. So it's a hustle and a bustle in preparation for the Christmas celebration. Christmas is yours, Christmas is mine. A feeling of joy, it's so divine. So let us all rejoice and let the voices sing. Glory to the newborn King. about getting some new curtains. And then of course the usual quarrel when he forget to buy the sorrel. Mommy blood pressure cause a big headache. No currants and raisin to make fruit cake. Daddy money short, he in a real jam. We ain't sure if we eating ham. Christmas is yours, Christmas is mine. A feeling of joy, it's so divine. So let us all rejoice and let the voices sing. Glory to the newborn King.
You know, when I line up music for episodes like these, right? And I listen to 100 good. I have some gripe with Christmas music, you know. I'll get into that first before I get into Fitzgerald, Hinds, and the likes, right? But I wonder sometimes if the amount of Christmas music 100 play, if it makes sense for we to have Christmas episode here, you know what I mean?
A different breeze start to blow. You get goose pimples from head to toe. And then the music begin to play, leading up to Christmas Day. By now the spirit gripping you tight. It's parang and carols filling the night. And before you could wink, you yourself can't believe you're right into Christmas Eve. Christmas is yours, Christmas is mine. A feeling of joy, it's so divine. So let us all rejoice and let the voices sing. Glory to the newborn King.
Like, while you're hearing these things 2-3 times a day on 100, I want to come and hear this again here. Okay, if you give me the chance.
Christmas, we must remember, means the birth of our Savior. It had too late then to make us start to keep him in our hearts, because it's he who recommends peace and goodwill to all men, so that we can share without any fear. Greetings true and sincere. Christmas is yours, Christmas is mine. A feeling of joy, it's so divine. So let us all rejoice and let the voices sing. Glory to the newborn King.
One of the best arranged songs for the whole of the Christmas season. Well, we can have a top 100 Soca Parang and Parang tune. Here's my gripe with the Christmas, right? When I listen back to music, and this is what I was saying last week about the top 100 list, right? If I make a top 100 list of any genre, my age will show in the list. But one of the things when I listen back to these songs is that when I listen to a song like that, well constructed, well put together, you know what I mean? A whole story from beginning to end, covering all the different parts of Christmas too, you know, because the Christmas, a Trinity Christmas, if you think about it from a cultural standpoint, right? A Trinity Christmas is the music and the parang and the caroling and them kind of things, right? Salute to the Hinksons who went up in the marionettes choir. I don't know what the hell the name of the show is about. That, you know what I mean? The Marionettes have the annual Christmas show. When he tell me about that, I immediately missed Joyce Caesar and the Southern Years Choir. You know, I feel like emptiness there immediately. But Marionettes known for putting on a great show year after year. But them is the things what make up with Christmas. The music is a part of it. The food, of course, and the drinks and the liming and them kind of thing, and the downtime, as if we was working hard whole year. You know what I mean? We take the Christmas as a kind of break, break from what I don't know. Of course, a part of the Christmas is the gift giving and the looking forward to what you will get and who thinking of you during the Christmas time. Part of Christmas is always the check this one. You have to pass by this family. You have to go by, when you get married now, you have to go by the in-laws. Which day you go spend? You spend Christmas home, you go Boxing Day by your mother, and then the day after Boxing Day, you come back by my mother. But we don't want to stay by your mother too long because all that is part of the culture of the Christmas. And when you look at how Relator put together that song, when you get a chance, over rewind this and listen to it verse by verse again. He cover the gift giving, he cover the music, he cover the food. One of the things he covered in it, which I always like to talk about Christmas time, is a struggle with Christmas, because Christmas could be a struggle. And I was talking to Paula Stacy there, and she say, we had made a decision some years ago. So look to my guy Nick Dean. We kind of say, here what? We done with gift exchange and gift giving, right? And I see my father and his wife do this a year. You know, we was doing Christmas he used to make a big deal, right, of when we get together for Christmas, because my sister living with her mother, I living home by my mother, and so it's a big thing when we all of us get a chance to get together for Christmas. And I always remember them times sitting around the Christmas tree, the anticipation of the gift, and almost as if even from childhood, that anticipation and the waiting and the fact that I have a gift to give meant a lot more to me than the actual gift that you get. They start to reach the age where the gift you're getting don't matter as much as the hype that built around it. And I always remember a year, my father and his wife exchanged gifts. And me and Janelle, we exchanged gifts and everything. And it was, two of them keep laughing. I trying to figure out, well, what they're laughing at, you know what I mean? Not realizing that with all the hustle and the bustle and preparation, according to her later, right? Them forget to buy a gift for one another. And she take one of his jeans and wrap it. And he open the jeans and pretend like if just for the spirit, because sometimes the spirit of the thing is what matter more than the actual gift. So Miss Stacey and I, with under Nick guidance, of course, decide, listen, on the special occasion times, the anniversaries, the birthdays, we don't really do the gift giving thing too much. We try and make sure we have some experience tied to it at all times. But she was just talking about how much pressure. I never realized as a man, she said, boy, it's real pressure to buy things for you. I said, but I don't understand. To me, I the easiest man to, like, Rambunctious sing a song every year. We only get socks and drawers. I good with that, Once you find out the socks and the drawers I just buy, you could give me that for the rest of my life. Me ain't changing nothing. I'm very close to Steve Jobs now, to wear the same shirt, the same jeans, and the same shoes every single day. I don't looking for a pair of New Balance to buy already, we see at my age, because the way thing going with my knee and the arthritis, something I need some kind of New Balance, because this old Balance ain't working out at all. You get me? But the Trinidad Christmas have a spirit and an energy and a vibe to it. And I wonder if a part of what I feel during Christmas is because I born in 1980. So the first 10, 12 years of my life was a recession where not having was a part of the Christmas thing. Because there was a special feeling about getting a ham Christmas time or a pastel and sweetbread. Well, let me put it as whatever you like around Christmas time. There was a special feeling about the abundance, right? Because Christmas now you have a choice of what you want to drink. You could drink soft drink or shandy or ginger beer or sorrel. So much different thing available in the house. Or when they make food, you have pastel, you have ham, you have pea. The truth is that we didn't really have that much abundance every single week. So it was something to look forward to. I always remember I have a little brother named Jonathan. Salute my boy Jonathan, right? We went to go on vacation somewhere, and of course a big part of the vacation, them time we go on Tobago plantations or wherever, the place have a pool. So Daddy was saying, well, Johnny, you love this pool, boy, you ain't coming out of this pool. We had to build a pool home. And Jonathan, in his wisdom, he couldn't be more than definitely under 10, but a small child. And he say, nah, I don't want no pool home. And I thinking, boy, hush your mouth, let me get a pool now, boy. What the hell is wrong with that? I trying to see, but I give him man a help. I say, hush, why are you looking for a pool? But he said, no, I don't want no pool, because if we have a pool home, what will I look forward to when we go on vacation? Out of the mouths of babes and suckles, I never really thought that way. But I wonder if, beside the fact that I was a young hen back then and I was an old fowl, you know what I mean? The special feeling around Christmas to me have a lot to do with the fact that we didn't have much. So when somebody give you something, you know somebody sacrificed to give you the thing. They had to put a lot of thought into it because the budgets wasn't unlimited like some of the listeners to this podcast. You had to put a lot of thought into what you give. And you're getting something from a loved one who not just going and pick up this and buy this for you every day of the month of the year and all of that. You could just buy it at random times. Or it might be something that you had your eye on and wanted, but you put, especially as a man, right, who you had a household to run and thing, you might have something that you wanted that you not buying or you wouldn't just go and pay for because you're studying. Not just the bills that I have to pay next month. I studying what the bills I have to pay for the rest of the year. And if work slow down, so I might be holding on to that. And you see somebody get a nice little t-shirt. You feel good. But I guess in the Americanization of the thing, and keep in mind that from 80 to all 82, 83, 84, them years. Sorry, 80 to all 90 something. We now start to get, only remember Rainbow Cable and Transnation or whatever the hell the people name was. They used to get 34 and 35 channel, more channel than you could believe. And we live in a time where we was done beyond the negative list. Nobody wasn't traveling as much as people could jump on a plane now, run and come back and all. It was not as prevalent then. So when cable TV come in and everybody get excited about what happened in the States and what's the promise of a winter wonderland, you know what I mean? Chestnuts roasting on the open fire, you know what I mean? When we get to want to see that. We also wanted the big Toys R Us thing and the, Home Alone and them things influenced so much the cost of the toy, and then the brand name toys start to come in now and the brand name games, because not enough to get a top and you remember top on your little Marlin or your bus, your little cabai, them things where we used to make we own toys and support people in the area, you know what I mean? Half the gifts I buy in a long time coming from somebody who making something in St. James. But it started to get to be brand name toy now. I remember when they buy Hungry Hippos for me. I used to beg, salute my boy Colonel King. Every Friday, this man's supposed to go, my mother is like, come home by me and play Hungry Hippos. And you know what funny? We grew up to be two adult hungry hippos now, because all we call one another for is food. We call one another and say, come hungry hippo, come eat with me. The truth is that the Christmas change, and I'm wondering if now that we have no more US to buy, and we have no more flight to take, and we have no more aeroports, and we credit card have no more money, if it's an opportunity for us to get back closer to the traditions of our Christmas and the reality of what Christmas looks like for us. And instead of spending all that set of money, right? Instead of spending all that set of money and looking for this and looking for that and bringing in that and bringing gifts to, no doubt that gifts impress, right? But we focus more on spending time. And when I say spending time, not just spending time with one another, which is good, because I think we are a little bit good at that still, because we go by this family and we go by that family. So spending that kind of time, but also spending time buying gifts, because budget's limited. You don't want to waste money. You want to make sure that the person happy and they're surprised and they feel good. But we also living in a world where that person might be, again, we at the point now where maybe we can walk in and buy things, or we ought not to brace for these few years of hardship that is to come, right? They say 7 years of plenty. Well, and 7 years of famine. Maybe it's an opportunity for us to do that and to see it differently. And this is where my conundrum comes from in the music, right? Because I listen a lot of music before I decide what's the 5 or 6 songs you play in every episode. Every episode, like me, tell you a documentary at this point. And when I listen to older songs, I'm starting to wonder if I am biased, or maybe just how biased I am to older music from around Christmas time. Because when I listen to Relator and the way he put together that song, and I listen to some of the most popular Christmas songs now, right, and the way they put together, I wonder if I'm just like, let me put it out there, right? My issue is that when I hear Rome singing, I want the pone, Annie. Give me the pone. I don't like that. I don't like it. I find his song crass, his song crude, his song bad. I admittedly, I always remember partying with my father, not understanding why he don't play certain kinds of music and them kind of thing, right? He used to say the same thing. I always remember a man who sang Cat in Bag. I find the Cat in Bag song was nice. The man say, I ain't buying cat in bag. And Daddy vex the man playing the Cat in Bag. And I saying, but is the song nice? He say, I wanted kitty laughing like me, or whatever he used to say in the song, right? A little man around the parang long time, I suppose. But I wonder if when I listen to I want me brush, neighbor, me brush, neighbor, with Kenny G, great rest in peace, late great Kenny G. I wonder if I hear in that through different ears. Like that song don't bother. Not that it don't bother me, because in all the years I play in Parang and all the Parang songs I know, like if I go somewhere to play music, there's no chance of me going by nobody and singing I want my brush neighbor. No, I wouldn't do it. I don't. It don't feel right. Let me put it that way. So I more will sing like that crazy I play first or relate, or songs that more in the essence of what Christmas really is. And you know, the Crazy Maria is a kind of funny double, not double entendre, but it's a funny thing. He said he can't sing Spanish, but he went and he gave him some kind of muchachita. I like that. And some of it, it crafty. Salute to Keegs, right? I like the road that Keegs as an artist who on that level of Rome, who in the mix now as, if you want to call them younger, soca parang men. They in the mix. But Keegs seemed, and I don't want to put no knock on him, because I'm also not saying anything like Rome music shouldn't play, or be, that's just my personal preference. He should play it. People love it. He booked for every Christmas party it have. But it seemed to me like Keegs trying to go down a road where his music more staying with the essence of what Christmas is. I just want to share that. I'll tell them how I feel if I overthinking it, because like I want a feeling to put something in your mouth. You know damn well what I'm talking about. Even though, again, I'm not going nowhere and sing that, but I accept that. Those songs as harsh on my ears as give me the pony, the pony. I don't find that song that good. But in the essence of a recession Christmas, it's a tune for that, right?
Yes, one Christmas Eve, casually I was walking down the street. One Christmas Eve, casually I was walking down the street. I was attracted by the voice of a little boy as he held his mother's hands, telling her his plans. What do you think the conversation could be? He said, listen mama, I want you to tell Santa Claus to bring a trumpet and a concertina for me. I am lonely, cause there's no children nearby me. Ma, you don't know how happy your son will be. She looked at him very sad as the water filled her eyes, to realize that she hadn't the answer for his prize. She was so worried, yes, so worried and so confused. As they stroll along the street, no shoes on his feet, while they walk, he continued to repeat as he pleaded, listen mama, I want you to tell Santa Claus to bring a trumpet and a concertina for me. I am lonely, cause there's no children nearby me. Ma, you don't know how happy your son will be. Approach her and promised to give a helping hand. She said to me, Mr. Knapp, you can do the best you can. I gave her money and asked her, miss, where you live. That night at 12 o'clock, I brought a lovely box. The next day, she was so merry and gay when she heard, listen mama, I want you to thank Santa Claus for the concertina and the trumpet he brought for me. I'm so happy, I have no time to take some tea. Oh, what a nice Godfather he is to me.
Big song. The man in the name of the song is Nap Hepburn, right? If you don't know the name Nap Hepburn, just remember that as much as you love and know that song over the years, right? Remember that Nap Hepburn was a MC in Calypso and them kind of thing, right? And sing some giant piece of tune Nap Hepburn have there. But again, maybe the gratitude in the Christmas and the spirit of giving is what we need to get back to, because you're not getting nothing. It's a rough Christmas. I think we had too much of giving and getting this year. And as I say, scarcity and choice, right? We're not dealing with years full of scarcity where the gifts hit the same. I think a part of it is, the gifts is for the like to create the experience for the youths and for the children and for the grandchildren and them. I think we still have that in us for Christmas, but maybe back to the spirit of Christmas, back to the spirit of our Trinidad Christmas, which to me, rooted in generosity, opening your home to people, giving them all that you have. It don't matter what you have. We come in to drink that. We ain't care. Nobody ain't watching no face. Nobody ain't judging nothing. According to Stacey and Zachary and all these people on TikTok, we listen when we don't judge, right? So you see, you understand what I'm saying? That's how we live in. So generosity, in the spirit of generosity, and who better to be generous to than yourself? PM accepts SRC salary hike proposal, claims it's justified. Don't feel because I ain't talked about this for a long time, it's off the list, right? I just push it further and further down the list. Aka Samaru, the government has unapologetically accepted the recommendation of the Salaries Review Commission, which will pave the way for a pay increase, substantial in some cases for politicians and other public officers. Breaking in silence on the matter yesterday's post-cabinet briefing, the Prime Minister said he accepts that some members of the public will not be happy with their decision, but the defiant Keith Rowley, which is that's a bit of a redundant sentence, I bear that cross without fear of retribution. The 120th SRC report proposed salary increases from Prime Minister, opposition leader, MPs, members of the judiciary, and the police commissioner, among others. And while the UNC has outright rejected the proposal, usually we see the UNC talk bad about it and then have a abstain when it's time to vote. Let me just say the UNC, the opposition. They tend to go in there and either vote with or abstain for salary increases. But the UNC say they vote against, and they also say if them was in power, they wasn't taking a cent. Not one red cent. The proposal will see the Prime Minister's salary increase from 59,680, call it 60,000, right? To 87,000, call it 88,000, right? Dr. Rowley, oh God, well, them fellas could give. I wonder when they accept it, when the money is kick in. All they ever went through, like you're working somewhere and it had negotiation and all them things for back pay. But listen, Palace Stacey don't tell you, I say so, right? Let me talk easy. When she now come a teacher, right? Must be the second month when she come a teacher, the negotiation settle. I never hear so much question about back pay and pay increase in my life. I say, but like we were seeing hard time home here because she started to ask me, how much back pay? And if I ask her, back pay for what? You work in 2 months and it's February is one of the month done short. Which back pay? And she wonder, but when is salary? I say, hey, the work so, not because they put it in the papers, mean your salary go increase the next day. I never see somebody scrutinize our pay slip so. But they said the government accepts the recommendations to implement it. It will require a circular from the Minister of Finance, and the politics will start or it will end. Or the politics will start and it will end. I guess around him collecting the increase. Defending the position, Dr. Rowley said, we believe that we bring value by working hard, by working honestly for the people of the country, and the benefits are there to be seen by those who want to see benefits. I like that. That's the best statement I heard in my life. From now on, I am in Prime Minister training. Because I just come here and talk a lot of nonsense, and these fellas have it figured out. Hear what he say. We believe that we bring value by working hard, by working honestly for the people of the country, and the benefits are there to be seen by those who want to see the benefits. You can't argue with that. It's a benefit if you're looking for benefit. If you're looking for culture and bacchanal, or you're looking for corruption, you go find. I like this statement. I had to learn how to talk like this. He said he anticipated that his decision would be used against him on the political platform with a general election due next year. But he said that he was ready for it. And for members of the public who believe they should be ashamed for accepting an increase, the Prime Minister said. And as for the people of the country who believe that if the members of the government and the parliament are in fact to accept the recommendations of the committee that is set under the Constitution for that express purpose, it is for them to be ashamed, then so be it, so be it. I thought he was going to give them some advice. He said, well, to hell with your shame is what you come down to. I take full responsibility for advising the cabinet that after 13 years of this work, that the members of government who run this country, a $6 billion enterprise, and the acceptance of the SRC report after 13 years are a matter for the cabinet, and the cabinet should have no difficulty in concluding that matter in the way the government is saying we will conclude it. I tend to agree. the provision there in the constitution, the SRC is independent of the government and the opposition or the whoever ruling party and the opposition. So under the current structure, you can't really disagree with what he's saying there. There to be done, the SRC is an independent body, technocrats and so on. So they're supposed to decide what's best for the country as a whole, right? Asked by Guardian Media if he believes the new salary proposed by the Office of the Prime Minister is fair and justifiable, he responded, whether it is fair or not is not the point. Those who were given the assignment to do it have done it. These are the recommendations. I accept it without more on this occasion. He even commended the work done by the SRC. I recommend them too. Me is so good at maths, right? And let me just work out that quick sum here, right? As a man is getting wrong all the time. 88 minus, call it 60, right? Like 28. 28 over 60 is a 46% increase. I want to call out my numbers on the air, but you calculate your numbers with me. Don't call out your numbers hard, right? You know, you lie and tell your wife how much you're working for, right? So just say it out loud while you're talking, but calculate how much you generally make and multiply that by 46% and add that on top of that and see how you'll fare, you know what I mean? Where to go from here? He's asked what message he had for them. Oh, Guardian Media pressed him on the matter, saying that this was coming at a time when several unions are also making a case for a wage increase. Asked what message he had for them, the Prime Minister said, all of these matters are part of compartments of the government's business, and every single one of them will be dealt with under the arrangements to deal with it. It took 13 years for the SRC report to be where it is here in front of us, but before there was a time when you were dealing with public servants and giving them a 15% increase. Pivoting to the position of the opposition leader on the matter, the Prime Minister urged the public not to be fooled by the UNC. Publicly, they could pretend they are not interested in it. That privately, they are rinsing out their ears that they want it. I would not doubt that. You see, that's what he's saying. Eh? And this had nothing to do with PNM or UNC to me. This had to do with human being. Economics 101, the first thing I ever hear in an economics class. Salute to Mr. Reminiscing. Salute to Mr. Elder, the man who make me know and love economics. One of the first lessons is getting your first class of economics is that human beings are by nature greedy. Greedy. And you could replace the word greed with ambition and all them kind of things. We are never satisfied. Insatiable appetite. The more you earn is the more you want to earn. You get something new, you start to look at something newer. It's nothing wrong with it, right? It's just human nature. Even if you don't see yourself as greedy. Because we sometimes look at things and you look at somebody like me who like nice things and like to jump on a plane or like to do this and like to do that. And you might say, well, nah, he greedy. I not greedy. Because I save my money. All that is greed too. Because what we're trying to do is to have more than we had before. That is greed. And we have much more. So even if you're somebody who save a lot, like a frugal, you be making sure you squirrel away. What you're saving the money for is to make sure you have more money than you had before. And you feel good when you see your balance increasing in the bank because we are insatiable. The more we have is the more we want. And even if you didn't believe all that, do you want more for your children than you had for yourself in this life? Why? If these struggles make us what we are, why do let these children struggle? Shaq say he ain't leaving no money for none of the children. He say that I figure it out this. I believe that, but we want the children to do better because of that idea of greed or ambition or betterment. We think that more is better, right? It's by nature with human beings, right? This young generation has some hope, you know. They like to... They're heading towards this minimalist life and thing, but watch greed take over them too eventually. So I'm not doubting that any opposition or any person who in a position to get more money will take the more money. And I'll be honest with you, let me give you my thoughts on this up front, right? I too like rollers. I find if the SRC have a work to do and them had to propose a new salary for the people who they have to propose a new salary for, and them men come and say, 88 is what we need to land, I find they should accept it. The only reason they should not accept it is if they find it too low. I don't know if they could do that. If I work in for 55, 13 years ago, and you come and you tell me 56, I could reject that and say, now, let's come again. Go and recommend something else, you know what I mean? But if you're satisfied with it, if you look at position by position based on the economy, and maybe the size of the economy is a good metric to use, maybe a good metric is growth of the economy. But it's so difficult because those things not really directly within your control, you know. But if some portion of your salary is a function of how you run the economy or the size of the economy, and I'm sure the SRC will take those. That's what the purpose of a body like that is for. Because let me establish that you need somebody who is reviewing the salaries of the people who run in the country. I want you to, for a minute, close your eyes, put your finger on your lip, fold your arms, and forget the party in power. Forget the party in opposition. Just understand that, as I always say, the best and brightest people is the people who go and rise to the top to run any country and to run any government, opposition and party in power. And if you're not paying them people properly, you're leaving yourself open to several issues. Because if they're meeting with men in oil and gas or men in manufacturing or Kartel to sort of run a business and use the man who making the least money in the room, you have a problem. I saw salute, I think it's Gerald Ferrer, tell me online. He said, boy, I find you shouldn't pay these fellas nothing and let them make the money on bribe. I might like that idea a little bit. You know? I might just like that idea a little bit. Say openly, whenever you make a deal with Shell or BP or whoever you think, or Sandals, or who else you making deals with, whenever you make your deals with, or Dragon, whatever deal you make, you work out the best deal for yourself out of that. Whatever you could get for that, or you bust it up among one another. I'm very close to being on the side of that. You know, I kind of like the idea, and I'll tell you why. Because beyond the corruption and all the other things that are obvious with underpaying public servants who making the biggest decisions in the country, because the purpose of our government is to decide, well, at least in a country like Trinidad and Tobago, the purpose of the government is to decide on how to distribute the resources of the country, what to do with the money. When the country make money, they have to decide, okay, am I going to give Tobago all and let them go their way? Am I going to invest all of it in healthcare? Am I going to put all of it behind crime? Am I going to put it into programs like Food Card and you make a child get money, or where the money going to go? And then the provision of public goods, right? Like the roads, the street lights. We like the provision of some merit goods too, like healthcare and education and those things, all the way up to tertiary. You could get a little blah if you don't have the money. So the role of the government is really to decide where those things go. They have a legislative role as well too, right? To decide what is law and all the laws decided. So in other words, the government has decided if man could lie with man, you know what I mean? Just in case you're interested in that. I'm not sure why this is the first law that comes to my mind. But the government is deciding on them things. You don't want people who have that kind of power to stop you from doing what you really like and to lock you away for doing the things that make your heart full. You cannot have the worst people and the most unscrupulous people going up for those jobs. Now, how you go get the worst and the most unscrupulous people, to me, is a trickle-down thing. It's not about the Prime Minister and what he's making. Because if the Prime Minister making 50,000 or whatever the number was, right, which is well below the people who making the highest amounts of money in any corporation in the country, and maybe even below some people who, if they have public-private arrangements, I ain't gonna call no company's name, you know what I mean, or no place's name. If you have public-private arrangements and you had to pay somebody to run that public-private arrangement, and them men responsible for big construction and some of the biggest projects that advance in the country and so on, and them men making more money than you or money that rivaling you, and you deciding what kind of subvention they get, and that could never be right. That cannot work in the private sector at all. I ain't talking about no company in particular called the Heart and them, but if you have a man who making, maybe at the time before he passed away, God bless his soul, how much money would they be making if they're making 50, 60 now? Let me say it was 40 something. And a man like called the Heart, what you think going to happen? If I'm making 3 times what you making, I putting aside 1/3 of my salary to hire me a spiritual advisor / priest / Obi woman. And I'm making sure it's your flavor. And I'm making sure all you link up to spiritually advise. It is corruptible. It is an issue. But more than just the corruptibility, if the top man making 50, when a man going in there to be a counselor or to be a alderman, I don't know what's the lowest level of governance you could enter to start making your way up to the top, because these days like the top free, you know. The top looking like it open. So if you look at men history, many of these men work their way all the way through the system of governance, through party and so on, and come up all the way from the council or whatsoever you call the place, all the way up to the top, right? So if the top man making 40, and and the man who now coming in, he making about 3,500. 3,500 for coming and take pressure in your community and them kind of thing and be a spokesperson for the community and be a public face where all of a sudden your name known everywhere. People could say all kind of thing about you. You could hardly defend yourself or you get labeled and branded as a PNM or UNC. You can't get no work. You almost said me as a famine and something. You could get 10 years of a hardship when PNM stay in power for so long because you went and put yourself there as a UNC under pressure, right? At that level, you're never going to attract the best and brightest minds and the hardest working and the healthiest people and them kind of thing if the salary is that. The man who going to school and doing the right thing and walking the streets and so on, he's going to take his engineering degree, he's going to take his law degree, his PhD, what is called, not PhD, what's the next one? The medical degree, the business degree. He's going to take those things and he's going to go into private practice and see how much money he could make. If he go into government or public sector, he's going to go into a regular work where you could get money and Roger and them could go and negotiate on your behalf. Or you go and stay in your father business, like so, and then stay and make money and do anything like fires. And you know, you learn the ropes from them as they come along and you stay there and you make your money at that with them point in time. You're never going to attract the best and brightest. And the best and brightest not attracted from the prime ministerial level or the opposition leader level. It's attracted way lower down. You need young people who coming into this thing. I have a young fella to talk about today, you know. Who is the antithesis of everything I'm saying here? Because if I was he, a matter of fact, I am he, right? I am he. And there are plenty of he I see grow up around St. James. Men who, for whatever reason, they take a different route than some of the other youths who was growing up in St. James. They stay in school longer, they study, they advance themselves, they went and they learn different trade and do different things. And I could tell you, down to the number, whether they invest in themselves, they learn under people, down to the every single one of them went into private practice. They own their own business, they running their own thing, they coaching football team, men doing their own thing. Men in have time to go and study the government thing. But me personally, when I study, put myself up for politics, and the first thing I just study is the scrutiny that your life had to go through. The next thing I have to study now is my family. What they going to say about me and this. I can't deal with that. Let me just say I can't deal with that. At this point in my life, I'm not sure that I can handle that. And I'm telling you outright, I cannot handle that for no 50 or 60,000 a month. I want to go as far as to say, without putting myself in too much problems, I feel I could figure out how to make 50, 60,000 a month without that kind of pressure. Well, me going through, and you listening thinking the same thing. I go figure out a few things. I go figure out a couple things. I'll see how, even if I have to work 2 and 3 and 4 jobs or figure out this or how to invest this into this, run my own business, whatever it is I have to do, it ain't gonna be the same as Prime Minister. No matter what I do, I wrong, and everybody's saying the worst about me. And that is a lot. That is a lot. There's a lot of pressure to go through. I just done a man. The simplest meeting I had tomorrow, I can't sleep tonight. You can imagine they sending me now to meet with Trump. I had to go and play brave and play like I want to square up to nobody. I want when I go and meet Trump, we knock a glass and laugh and have a good time. Me ain't here for no set of hard meeting and nobody's stressing me out. I can't deal with that. I don't looking older than Trump already and me ain't under the kind of pressure here no. So, from that standpoint, I don't think we should be discussing, if I am the SRC, the conversation for me started somewhere closer to between $250,000 and $500,000 a month. I'm sorry to tell you, for the Prime Minister. And I'm working my way back down because men in the judiciary and them kind of thing, these are positions that should be well paid, that the average young, bright, upwardly mobile youth should be looking forward to seeing how they could get a position like that or have the ambition to become Prime Minister or opposition leader or MP or Senate or whatever the things are that they're arguing here. I want to put it at a point where it remains aspirational. A man must study, boy, again, I work here to be the CEO a place like Unicoma and Courts and these kind of places, or a place like Nestle, Trinidad and Tobago, or SM Jaleel calling me for CEO, but them only want to offer me 180. If I go into politics and I win, I could win up to 250 a month. I could earn that, you know what I mean? I prefer that. My conversation never nowhere around 59 and 80,000 and them kind of thing is not enough money. This is barely 10,000 years. A little bit more. No, I suppose. Not gonna work for me. Not when I remember reading that Russell Latapy as the head coach of the Soca Warriors of Trinidad and Tobago, who went nowhere beyond the hex after having qualified for a World Cup, right? Because they had Ben Hacker, they won the World Cup when it was 2010. Russell Latapy was the head coach. I'm telling you that when Ben Hacker when we qualified for the World Cup, we were working with Sony at the time. Sony glad they called us to ask us how to sponsor the national team because that was the biggest side in CONCACAF at the time. Money flowing into the team. I remember reading somewhere that Latapy complete salary was 400 grand a month. No, it's TTFF, right? So you might have never see that money. And I hope to God you're getting something like that or whatever he had desire. But if the man who's the national coach could make $400,000 a month, come on. We can't be so we can't be so party specific and politics specific and individual specific that we can't see that these numbers they're not making sense. So that's my take on the whole thing. I will, however, say, right? However, I will say that in conversations with my friends, they say the closest people to you is friends, family, and fools, right? The more I talk about this, is the more my head is getting slightly turned, and I could see why people are aggravated about this issue, right? So one of the issues is this. I hear people talking about the negotiations now, and the government stance has been for a while now that we can't pay nobody, we don't have no money, we all thinking and that, only want to crash it. I'm a big proponent of it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And let me put it this way, we are all politicians. Whether you're dealing with your children, you're dealing with your husband or your wife, you're dealing with work, politics is not governance. Politics is how we interact with one another and how we could help advance our cause or advance our position when you're dealing with each person. So you're always in politics, right? So in my political dealings, let me put it like this, right? Let me say in work, right? If I'm in work and people, it's time to negotiate for increases and so on. I do not see myself in a micro situation like that, scolding my team and telling them, always coming for more money and the economy and then at the same time turning around and having the same attitude or the same saying it in the same way when I increase my thing by 45%. To say, well, that's the SRC work and I think that it's not negotiable and that I would not feel good about that. But it make me realize, this whole thing make me realize that me ain't built for this kind of politics. I good for low level, individual, micro level politics because this above my pay grade, no matter what they increase my pay grade to, because I can't live so. And I saw Kamala Prasad talking about not accepting it. And I was wondering, like, if from a political standpoint, like, wouldn't it have made sense if you have an election coming up? I hear election calling this week, you know, and I think coming Carnival election and all them kind of thing. People saying election before Easter and all these things, right? I would think that I would basically use this as a political card to say, hey, here what's going on. SRC, I don't want to hear all you right now, because the state the country in now, we can't even finish pay public servants, people ain't get it back pay yet. And I want you to remember that this 4% thing start from a statement by a man named Coleman Bird saying 0, 0, 0. I don't know if people just forget. But the first set of negotiations, when the men now went back in power, they say the UNC spent all the money and mismanagement, and the offer on the table for a long time was 0, nothing, nada. Right? For the first 3 negotiating years. The 4% is a big step up from where we were. Salute to Dr. Rowley. Kudos to him for coming in and say, well, hey, we do 15% is fair. They had done much larger percentages before, but the arrogance that has come from Shortman with that 0, 0, 0 and the talking down to you. Because keep in mind that I'm not negotiating in private sector. If a man negotiating for a salary increase, he negotiating for a salary increase tomorrow, you know. He talking about January. And all that is part of my negotiation too. If you have a salary increase and a kick in, I talk about Q2 next year. Me have the money. But the truth is, in the public sector, they're negotiating for something they already work for. I have a partner who only telling me he on 2014 salary, like 10 years ago, solid. You're talking about something that you already work for. And you're continuing to work under conditions that we all agree, regardless of what the figure is, we all agree that the salary you're working for now does not reflect today's figures, right? Whether it's 4% or I remember the 00, the first time, I want to only remember for me, because my memory is great, but they went from 000 to something like 002, if I'm not mistaken. And I suspect that the two come last to lessen the blow of the back pay, right? They would make the back pay cheaper if they backload the two instead of front loading it, right? So, against the backdrop of everything that happened, even, and I ain't talking about no noble cause, because I would have just say, no, we can't accept this at this time. I don't even want to, as a matter of fact, disband the SRC. We with our people and we standing up with people. And if public sectors can't get 4%, or can't get the money, they back pay anything, we don't want nothing. I will, the Jack Warner all willing to work for $1 kind of thing. And then to tell you the truth, they only put me back in power, I came in with $167,000. My back pay would be about $15 million worth of back pay, because they only re-elect me. I looking for $500,000 for myself, $450 for Colm. I was going to reject the opposition part. I say let them work for the 20,000 or whatsoever them doing. Let them stay down there, but I would have taken it from there. So the more you talk to people about it, you start to realize that. And keep in mind that the people who I'm talking to about this is people who I consider learned people, is men who understand this. I'm not talking about the average person here, right? Even I'm talking on the podcast, I'm acutely aware that I'm not talking to the average mind or the average person. But sometimes it's about the way you do things. It's about the how, like how you go about it. Like, and I find that like the more I hear from people, is the more you hear that PNM had no chance to win the election. You hear it more and more that they really don't have a chance at all, right? And no matter where it is come, you ain't in power next time. Line yourself up accordingly, right? Line yourself up. I don't know where your contracts is come from and them kind of thing, but if wherever your contracts is come from, make sure you line up your contracts and make sure you line up your. And if you're in a PNM appointment now, the bags are packed, ready to go. If you know you do, to say goodbye. I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Sorry, I wouldn't mean to laugh at that. I'm just a joke is joke, but I'm joking, no fun. But they say change is coming, right? Change is coming, and I do expect the opposition to do a whole lot different. But again, that's me on the issue with the SRC. And you know what's funny? Like, I saw the SRC issue going on. I was abroad. I was sick. I couldn't deal with it at the point in time. And I kicked the can down the road to talk about this for a while. And, I don't even know right now that me talking about this, if this is still an issue in the mind of the average Trinidad. It's like, these politicians understand that you had to do what you had to do and weather the storm for a week or two. But no matter what happened, Kartel will come and he'll make some joke with Mark Bassant and all of you will go back to normal and all of you will forget it, right? But it's a congratulations in advance to the UNC if election call early and everybody write all the pundits write about it and so on. And I just have a little tune to play here for all the PNMites who was enjoying the 7 year. Well, they will get back pay, right? We'll get back pay.
accustomed to it each morn. As usual, I head straight for the kitchen. Right away, I knew something was wrong. Cake batter in a bowl, but the oven was cold. Looking wrong, I couldn't find a spoon. Not a protein was hanging. The ham still wanted boiling. I can't find my wife even. Seems like she gone. Even, why is Christmas Day you choose? Even, you have me so confused. It's Christmas morning, look neighbors coming and parents playing. You don't know how I'm feeling. My heart is burning, my belly griping. Look people laughing. Even, why you leave me so ungone? Collect the memory, what happened the night before and such. But you know how things just get so big when you had about 10 drinks too much. I came up with a blank, but let me tell you frank, I have one flask of white coat to tank. Now I face with this problem, I even find my children. The house quiet and empty. Wishing, Yvonne, why is Christmas Day you choose? Yvonne, you have me so confused. It's Christmas morning, look neighbors coming and parents playing. You don't know how I'm feeling. My heart is burning, my belly griping. Look people laughing. Yvonne, why is Christmas Day you born?
After talking all that about attracting the wrong people, right? I want to say salute to a guy who I've been following for a little while now. Marcel gets love until West. I don't know if all of us following this story, but this is very, very encouraging. So, let me read from the Express here. This is from Alexander Bruzal. Hundreds of people showed up in support of the hopeful candidates at the P&M screening exercise at Balize House the other night. Melville Lane was blocked off to accommodate the screening of 15 candidates who were celebrating and cheering each of them nominees as they went in. I always wonder, like, people who is going to support and if them and work in no place. But I suppose everybody stands to benefit greatly if the candidate get in place, right? So Melville, no. Up to 7:30, people will still come and say, get to the point of the thing now. While each candidate had their own group, the largest appeared to be attorney Kareem Marcel, who is eyeing Laventil West seat. Incumbent Fitzgerald Hinds dropped out of the race last week. Now, that in itself deserves applause, right? That in itself deserves applause. I think we see the back of Fitzgerald Hinds. Well, they do him all kind of thing. Well, they make meme of him sleeping in the parliament. Well, they kick dirty old water, drain water, flood water on the man. Or they do the man all kind of thing. But he seemed to have a reputation for a minister or MP, MP more so than anything else, who is absent from the post. I remember he get social development and something, and the man say he see this spranger in a man's eyes. When through the window, you know, he barely sound like he turned down the window too much, you know what I mean? He barely sound like he turned down the window too much, but in a strange turn of events, and what I don't know if I'm the only person who was surprised and caught off guard by this, but all of a sudden he hear Fitzgerald and say he's not available for screening, he gone. In politics, to me, that typically means that there's a golden parachute. And men gonna give you when they get back in power, you get ambassador work or you get some kind of diplomat work somewhere, you know what I mean? The list is long. The list is long of people who go on Brazil and who go on Europe and who go on Netherlands or which part ever they go on, or who go on in the States to live nice in New York and so on. The list is long of old senators, MPs, and ministers who wasn't even, people didn't like them. Like, I don't know if he was a liked fella as an MP. I don't know if he was a liked fella as a minister. Almost every ministry he was in was a problem. And I seem to remember good old Patos, right? Sometimes it's only when you're dead and gone. You know. Good old Patos was under fire because they used to say Patos against Rastafarianism, and he not giving Fitzgerald Hinds a chance, and the highest he ever reached under Manning was a minister in the ministry of, you know what I mean? About 2-3 ministers removed from the minister of whatever they wanted to put him. And I remember when Rowler's teacup thing and everything come through and he got to be top, one of the first things to say is, well, he was fighting down Fitzgerald Hinds, and Rowley pull him in and make him minister in the ministry of too. But he got a few ministries where he was the minister. And it seemed as though it's one of them things where he never really work out. So salute to him. Thanks for your service. And as usual, we always are tuned to play, you know what I mean? I know if they want me to believe that Fitzgerald walk up a day and say, you know what, I'm not working, so I'm going to vacate the premises and give it, or when they asked Rowley say they asked him, you had a hand in that? He said, well, I don't know nothing about that. What they want me to believe, but they tell the man Basikai.
I hear in a quarreling, big Christmas morning, Rito mashing up the kitchen. People in behind the sun. So I went across to see what's really going on. He say I went for pizza pop just by Wellington. You know when I come back home, the damn woman gone. So I asking Leroy, where your mother gone? Answer me, where your mother gone? She a wash the well, she a clean upstairs. Your mother ain't put no glove on the handwork. Little boy, where you move my girl? Answer me, where your mother gone? She leave the cake right in the oven. Your mother leave the pastels to burn. Hey Leroy, where you move my gun? Hug it up. Ba-da-ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Ba-da-ba-dum, bum, bum. Ba-dum, 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 bum. Ba-da-ba-dum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-da-dum. Oh God, man, you are bound to cuss. All that is Christmas. Why you making so much of fun? Come, let me take a drink and stop cussing. Remember, people listening. He say 1, she didn't ask to go. 2, she coulda tell me so. 3, what get me mad? She gone with me down Pato, so asking Leroy,
Where Fitzgerald gone? Hey Rowley, where Fitzgerald gone?
she a wash the well, she a clean upstairs. The woman a put no glove on the arm. Hey Leroy, where your mother gone? Answer me, where your mama dey? She leave the cake right in the oven. The woman a put no glove on the arm.
But back to the man of the moment. Marcel took time before entering the Balize house to speak with his supporters who gathered on Melville Lane, thanking them for being there and assuring them that he will work for them if he was selected. One supporter who gave his name as Stephen Johnson told the Express that he was there to support Marcel because he believed that he could bring positive change to the Laventille community, and it was believed that he would put forth a younger perspective of what residents in the area were going through and what they needed. Before entering, Marcel briefly told the media that he was happy to be at the screening and was grateful for the turnout that he received. It was confirmed overnight that he had been selected. So we all saw the fanfare for that. And I don't know if you all would remember, but I do remember maybe a few years ago, early in the days of this podcast, I had featured Kareem Marcel. But of course, based on the media's feature of him, when they spoke about a young man from the Beatum overcoming adversity to achieve his law degree. I remember when he passed the bar. What is called that? What is called that? A calling out ceremony. And it's how a man who's listening to this podcast, when you see lawyers come out, he don't make you 50, 60,000. You know, he don't. Every time lawyers come out, you know, they come with a picture for their bag and them kind of thing. I ain't calling no name, but that man, he good for 80, 90,000. Check him. Anytime you see lawyers come out and you need money borrow, that is a man, 90 grand. Sure money, prime minister level money every time lawyers graduate. Can't remember what it's called the thing. But I remember seeing him then and reading the story and featuring it on the podcast and you know, feeling proud, a young black fellow who able to accomplish them things. A law degree is not an easy thing to do, plenty sacrifice, not just for you, but for everybody around you. And maybe not even connecting the dots in my mind, realizing that he's the same person. I ended up following him on Instagram. And the reason I ended up following him was because I was following a set of sporting events and stuff that was happening in the Beatum. Like they had football tournaments and, you know, the turnout is big good. Like sometimes you'll be passing or driving across the Beatum in the night, especially when I'm heading west. And you see the lights on the ground all the time and the one you could see from the highway there. And I started following him and looking at his presence and how much that them football tournaments and so on bring in the community together. And it make me remember the days of people like Kujufi and stuff in the park in St. James. If you know B&M ice cream, there's a house of people, they have a house opposite the park in St. James, right? It has to have at least 350 people living in that house. It's the biggest house in St. James, right? And the house don't lock. It don't ever lock up. Since I small, that house never lock up. The gallery upstairs, that door always open. It don't matter a crime situation, no matter. It's just happy people, right? And one of the people who was coming out of that house was a man named Kujufi. And St. James, that place have plenty football and plenty spirit, right? And when I talk about St. James, I want you to understand that I know that your story about where you from is the same. The community have a life to it, right? It have a business life, it have a sporting life, it have a religious life, it have a cultural life. It's just what it is in the communities we have. And I remember Kujufi used to take every little boy. Right now, for Zachary to play football, I had to sign him up for Project Pro, sign him up with our coaches. If he had to anything he had to learn, I had to pay somebody, a stranger, for him to go to the classes. The communities we come from were not like that. The community I come from in St. James, I used to just put on a jersey and go in the park and Kujufi and them teach me how to play football. When it's cricket time, Japan all of them pull together something, all of we learn to play cricket. Whoever could have played cricket before, show we little thing and they teach you this and that, and all of a sudden you're playing for a team. The community come together and they tell your mother, now send $20 it for jersey or X for a maxi. When they send for a maxi now, the maxi is Siki driving the maxi. You know? It's not a stranger. We don't have to hire caloos or no big or what do you call it thing now? Ride share or none of them kind of things. It's people who you know from the community. So the community used to support itself. And Kujufi was one of them people who I don't know that he getting pay to come out with my mother and them was paying Kuji. I doubt. But he had a team and he bring people along. And I was fortunate enough to be living in our community, was living in our community in Shogunas where. So this is my guy Travis. A coach, he take it upon himself. I didn't even know because them day I tell Zachary, I said, boy, go and play football. I interested in seeing the boy play football, you know what I mean? As a old scorer like me, right? let me spend a few minutes on this. As a old veteran goal scorer like me, I said, my son had to play some football, but he wasn't interested in that. He said his son's what? Because we have a fella in the community named Travis who coming out and coaching a little train. I see these little youth men raise their level because they're coming out every Sunday morning and train with Travis. And I did have Harvard and them kind of thing to go to eventually. But long before Harvard, there's somebody in the community who bringing you along, teaching you things. And when I was small, I think that what they're teaching you is football, but they're teaching you teamwork, conflict resolution, socialization, fitness, health, responsibility. There's so much in learning right inside that community there. So I always feel good. And one of the things that would have come out of that community as well is we used to go in the poorhouse in St. James. What is called now? The infirmary. Oh, salute to my guy Ronald, right? I always remember talking to Ronald the other day. Ex-barber who seemed like he didn't come and shut back. So when you go by Ronald, and you're talking in a barber shop, and I asked Ronald, I say, boy, they're playing cricket in the center again, boy, this is center up in Bonjo. Ronald's like, Corey, when last you went in the center? Only for me to drive up by the center the other day in Bonjo, it's no way to play cricket there again. It's a whole building built there, a whole plannings built upstairs from where the center was. Same thing with the poorhouse. I tell my mother about football in the poorhouse, and she's like, well, nah, there's the cancer center and emergency thing there now, and all in the back there is parking. There's no football field there again. But again, as a little boy, I could have gone and see everybody who named Ramdu and Barney and Sheppy, these fellas playing football in like plenty men playing football with flipper and stuff in the poorhouse. So the community used to support each other and stand up for one another. A wise man told me the other day, the first line of security in a place's community is not all these cameras and blink vigilance and rapid response and whoever else. The first thing is community, where we know each other children, we know what a stranger look like. Anybody could approach a stranger anywhere. Or if anybody in difficulty, the whole community will come together. It's difficult for crime to take a hold in situations like that. Certainly not petty crime, right? But this is why I think I had admired this youth man, Kareem Marcel, for a long time. Just watching the amount of work he doing in the area, he just remind me of a lot of people in the community that I grew up in. He remind me of people like Kujufi who organizing things. And I don't know how Kujufi used to get away from one place to the next year traveling to go here. He remind me of men like Japo who always organizing something. Men like Wendell, all them end up in politics, coincidence. Not Kuji, but Wendell and Japo. And them men was always movers and shakers and people who was mobilizing in the community. So, I'm happy for him. He goes against everything that I say in the beginning of the episode, because if I was he and I had a law degree, I looking to charge people $5,000. Every time I write a word on a piece of paper, it's $5,000. I had enough for my 80 for myself. But it seems as though he have a genuine interest in supporting and helping his community. So congratulations to him. It's not an easy seat for him to lose. I suspect one out of two things. Fitzgerald see this youth man come in and say, well, what the hell is this? Who is he? Because he don't know nothing about the community for real. So when he sees Kareem, who is Kareem? Because he never Fitz never going to watch one of them football game. And Rowley must tell you, hey, here we go. This youth man, everybody know who's this man. Nobody don't know who's you. Step aside. We have something for you in New York. You know what I mean? We put you as the ambassador to Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? What country Rasta come from? You send you Ethiopia. Go and read the Lassie book and come back. So congrats to Kareem Marcel, and congrats to, I guess, everybody else who passed the screen, and both PNM and UNC. I want to spend a minute highlighting this youth because I think he have a bright future. I'm always worried about people with always a little worried about people who end up in party politics, because party politics is not an easy game, and I always feel as if no matter what or no matter how good he is, you're going to toe the line. And I'll admit as well that I have a special bias for youth. I don't think there's a secret here, right? I like youths a lot, and I always feel youths have a lot more promise than all like me, so who head down hard and who jaded by everything it has. You know what I mean? So salute to Kareem Marcel. I have a youth to player too, you know, as much as we're talking about Christmas season and so on, and we owing people Christmas music. I have a youth to play here. For now, I will just tell you the person's name, right? I will just tell you that the person I'm going to play now goes by the name of Lenisha Bailey. I don't know if you all know the name Bailey. Always drink Baileys. 15 years old. Her own composition. Playing cuatro. Singing vocals in the background. Name of the song is Paranda. Let me say it right. Boy, as a man, you know what I mean? We're too good with the language, you know. Never pass Spanish and them things in school. No. Paranda Preciosa. You know what I mean? If you could get that right, you could pass your Spanish exam. Paranda Preciosa. Take the scene for me.
ti. Esta es una hora para ti. I dedicate this song to you. Y para la preciosa.
Tune from Tuneland. Go and tell everybody you're here to your face over. Same thing I'm talking about in this song, Salute to Lanisha Bailey. All you know the name Bailey from anywhere? You ever check I want you to go and check a top 100 list of soca and see if you see Bailey written anywhere. Daughter of the great Charlotte Bailey. Man sent me the tune, right? I say, all right, you see daughter singing a parang and thing. You know, them stories don't ever end well, right? Because when somebody send you something and they say, boy, here now my daughter, I want you to take a listen to this. The ending, it don't usually be good. I will help you out with that, right? When I send you them things like, oh, Lord. But this song, so listen, this song fit right into what we're talking about here. Because even at the age of 15, youths always had the answer. You know? And in case you didn't know, right? Daughter of the great Charlotte Bailey would make her the granddaughter of the great Winston Bailey. And if you don't know who that is, you tune into the wrong station, right? But Paranda Preciosa, she's talking about, it's not about the gifts. It's not just about the food. It's really the same thing we're talking about the togetherness and the community. This is where youth always had the answer. So I want to use that song to send a salute to Kareem Marcel. Stay who he is. Very grounded, very much present everywhere you see everything's happening on the beat and every mover and shaker in that community connected with him, right there with him. It's very different from what we'd have seen from Fitzgerald Hinds over the years. So congratulations to Kareem Marcel. Congratulations to Lanisha Bailey. Youth, you have a big song on your hand. That song, that little chord structure and thing, it's nice, bad. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. But something happened in Laventy. Because much as Fitzgerald Hinds gone, like I don't know if it's you know Bob Marley sang a song. He say, "Jah will never give the powers to a ballad. Run, come, crucify the dread. Time alone, oh time will tell. You think you're in heaven, but you're in Laventel." That's what Bob said. And now watching Bob Marley documentary, though, you'll forgive me. But as much as one Rasta gone from Laventy, we went from the east, the Laventy west he gone to. From Gil Alexander in the Guardian. In a picture with a big hug by Laventy East mover MP Adrian Leonce embraces Roxanne's Learning and Childhood Center Principal Roxanne King during his visit to the school in September, announcing his exit, I suppose. Something more concerning than the health issues is holding back Laventy East mover MP Adrian Leonce from representing his constituents at the next general election. He failed to show up at the PNM screening on Monday evening, eventually revoking his consent to be screened by the party. Leonce cited serious personal issues. However, Leonce has now told Guardian Media that it's deeper than that. In a telephone interview yesterday, Leonce said that he was devastated he could not be screened as planned. He revealed it was very emotional to have to meet with his constituency executive to give them the news as well. Asked for the reason for him not wanting to screen, was it due to health reasons or marital issues? He said, people will say health issues because I do get sick plenty, which is true. Okay. I do really get sick plenty, but it's a lot deeper. I didn't know this man was feeling bad. No, I didn't know he had health issues. I do really get sick plenty, but it's a lot deeper than and bigger than a health issue. I have no issues with my wife. Me and my wife are very happy. So it has nothing to do with anything like that. While diehard supporters aren't happy about his decision and are begging for his return to the PNM screening committee, Leonce said he wants them to know he has not abandoned them. I love my constituents. It's very heavy emotional time for me. I'm in no way abandoning my people. I love my people. I'll always be there for them in whatever capacity. Even if it's not an MP, I'll always be there for them, he stressed. Leonce said he's hoping his issues are resolved before the next general election so he can once again put his name forward for nomination. He said he's seen in the past where candidates are switched at the last minute. So again, this sounds like if there's more afoot. Seem to be a cleaning out of Laventy. You know what I mean? Literally and figuratively, it look like they're making some changes, right? So, everything, at least from what I hear, you used to talk about Leonce in a positive way. You know, I mean, it was much the same kind of hope I have for Kareem Marcel is the same thing that was being bandied about when Leonce was being placed there. You know, I mean, a youth who was very connected and close to the community, and you're hearing residents. It's almost like with Hinds, people say they're glad to see him go, but with Leonce, hearing more of a response that people not very happy with him. So I have to keep in mind, though, that The Guardian did write this article. And there's more happening in The Guardian these days. Like, the Guardian on a roll these days, right? Because The Guardian also said that Amy Brown taking over for Rowley, and they talk to Emery, and Emery says so themselves, right? That's what they say. But apparently, Amy Brown come out this week and say, hey, I had nothing to do with that. Nobody never tell me nothing about taking over Diego Martin West. I don't know anything about that. And I suppose when you're into the final, you know, the home stretch, the last furlong of elections, the rumor mill will start about who taking over and so on. Because Dr. Rowley did say that he was going to step aside sometime now. That was since before the last election. Surprisingly, he went out this whole election. So rumor have it that he's going to move aside. Rumor also have it that election going to call Friday of this week. Rumor also have it that Carnival Friday, while only playing for Kartel, you got to vote before you go and see Kartel. Carnival Friday. I don't know when they say, but also the idea of who going to be the next political leader, if it's Zami or if it's Amy Brown. I remember when one of the big things when they was trying to get Manning all the way was that Amy Brown was one of the people who was anything being groomed for the next prime minister and so on. But Amy say he know nothing about that. He talked to people and thing, and he say he don't know anything. So sad. I hear man from Howard University was supposed to come back and be prime minister too. Will you ever hear that? I hear so. Don't say as I say so. But again, it don't seem to be that anybody. And the last of the news I see on it is Dr. Rowley walking away from some people who come in to ask him question about that. He said, "Oh, ask me no such a question." You know, I mean, I gone. No, that is not for me. No. So he keeping that along with the election in his back pocket. I suppose that would be that's probably the wise thing to do. That's probably the wise thing to do. I guess as the prime minister, it would make sense for you to secure your own screening process, deal with whatever issues you're dealing with in Leonce and Moruga, where it seems as though they don't want the man to go back there and all they want only one person to go. But in Moruga, they had a man who they wanted to send, but they didn't send him. The new man ain't show up because he had family issues or health issues too. So they have some issues to sort out with their own internal thing. And I think the PNM is also wary of the last election they called before time. The last election they called before time did not end well for anybody involved. My boy didn't get to enjoy retirement like he take on that and he go on with bless his soul, Mr. Manning. But I don't know if there could be any truth to the idea that PNM willing to call the election early and put the things that they have in place at risk. I also feel as if, just from the standpoint of the politicking, right? I would want to make sure that my highway going Grandy and the highway going south and all the different projects and the Tobago airport that was supposed to cost about $300,000 that costing $400 billion. I would hope that finished too. I see like Rollers and Farley, them going down a road. A big headline today saying Rowley is a house slave. Them know how to play the politics game. They know how to play the game. Because Farley, just recently here in this week, it was tabled in Parliament again, the initial discussions or early discussions on Tobago independence or cessation and them kind of thing. And according to Rowley, if the first steps towards cessation or giving anything is autonomy for Tobago and you can't get that passed, Farley going down the road of being a house slave, everybody in election mode. So in election mode, unfortunately, in this country, is about mudslinging and name calling and finger pointing. And you know what I mean? I guess it's the politicking, all the politicking happening and the rumor mongering not slowing down. So I interested in hearing like where people are. I don't think they have much people who could honestly say that they're happy, like they feel inspired by Dr. Rowley and his cabinet. I doubt you will have people who will say, when you talk about people like Stuart Young or even Amy Brown or Penelope Beckles, or they have people, even as a diehard PNM supporter, that you yourself might prefer to see somebody there. I also don't feel like people like inspired by Kamla and the squad, and you know what I mean, they would be a great next option. But as our partner tell me today is a voting out election and not a voting in election, you know what I mean? So more things to monitor and things to keep an eye on. And also keep an eye on the fact that this is Christmas. And since US running out, I may or may not be here for the Christmas, you know what I'm saying? I may or may not be here for the Christmas. The podcast streets will remain fed. Don't worry, the podcast streets will remain fed. My numbers over the years show that nobody do listen to me over Christmas time either. But the streets will remain fed. As I wrap up this episode, right, and I come out, it's only fair that if we're going down the road of the Baileys, we have to play. I just kind of take almost any excuse to play Shadow. Well, you have to excuse me. I don't work in Scotch, right? I work in for myself. Me and nobody who can tell me, because I see Laura Dorich Phillip. One of the discussions was about the fact that Bassman from Hell not included on the list of 101 greatest calypsos or soca ever. And same man I tell you was doing the coaching. Travis is also a DJ, right? And he was showing me Scotch criteria for choosing songs. And one of the areas of criteria was impact. And I don't know that, like when I hear songs like Gene and Dinah not on the list, for instance, but again, if you put relevance and then you say who it's relevant to, you could hear why some of them things ain't right. But it's so funny that the discussion around Bassman was there on 101 calypsos and soca, and Bassman can't make the list, you know. And as we talking thing like Tobago wanting to be separate and wanting their own space, I just wanted to go back to my Tobago episode, and I just want Tobago to understand that we don't care how much autonomy Bill pass and thing. It has certain artists we keep in. You got I don't know how he is negotiate for that. I see the autonomy thing say they get 11 minds of shoreline, but Shadow shall remain shared, right?
And the patrol and the bass, and the pretty señorita with the laughter on the face. When the patrol start to rattle, it's like angels coming down. When they pass around the battle, time to take another one. Christmas nice, Christmas sweet, Christmas nice, Christmas sweet. Maria, 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 the old fellas start to pray. Maria, 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 I hope they don't come by me. Maria, 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 not a thing in my house. Maria, 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 it's my neighbor giving some sauce. Christmas nice, Christmas sweet, Christmas nice, Christmas sweet.
Sorry about that. That was not scheduled, but I could not help myself. Will you forgive me? Listen, it's a short. Christmas is usually the shortest vacation that these trainers have, but for some reason this year, Christmas is 4 weeks. Usually, Christmas used to be 3 weeks. Easter is 2 weeks, and summer or July, August used to be a whole long time, right? 8 or 9 weeks or something like that. For some reason this year, Christmas is 4 weeks. So them children home, all they have thing to do, all they doing, all they preparing for the Christmas, all they cleaning, take down curtain. You know how long my mother called me and asked me to bring down some curtain for she? I'm wrap this up fast so I could go and sort out the woman curtain, and then all they gonna set me up. All they gonna set me up here. I'm leaving all on this one of my favorite Christmas tune, what we used to call an entry tune. I'm leaving you with that on the exit. Hey, wait. We can't leave yet, bro. We can't leave yet. We can't figure out a whole topic. Vibes, Kartel, or Deja Palmer. I'm not a young man, only work with me now. Vibes, I'll do it quick. Vibes, Kartel, or Deja Palmer was here in Trinidad and Tobago to promote his Straight Vibes rum. Straight Vibes. People upset about Kartel coming here Carnival Friday. If you know me, you're supposed to know my take on this. I don't have no issue with that. Foreign songs and foreign music in Carnival is not new. It will never be gone. It will never be not new. I salute to a man who I follow online by the name of Zen Obi, right? This man is If you feel I know a little bit about Calypso, follow him. He know everything about Calypso and the culture and history. I just follow what he's saying. And from the time he say Kartel coming for what you call Fantastic Friday, I see him say, is it Kartel or a Kartel? And he went through a history of all the foreign music that would have taken space in Trinidad and Tobago Carnival over the years. And he was basically putting out the way soca or calypso has always combined or kind of taken on the shape of popular music in the world, or how popular music and popular artists would have been influencing our carnival or be here for our carnival, for instance, right? And one of them that I always talk about here is the idea of a happy wanderer, right? A happy wanderer winning the road match. What is the year? The year is 1955 by the Urban Christian Children's Choir. Right? And they would have win a road march here. So, and even that, I always talk about I find the road march competition should be open. Every competition that we have should be open to everybody, because you see, creating a monopoly, right? It sounds like a good idea, because Trinidad was built on protectionism. We close our borders to foreign things, and we end up with companies like Ansa McCall and Neil and Massey and Sunshine Snacks and what my next partner name? Associated Brands and them kind of things, and it works, right? So the idea of closing off your borders and making sure that you alone could do the thing that you could do, it might work in the short run when you have an industry that is in infancy. You're protected from global competition. So, but it's almost like, you know, when you're planting something, you know, weed, or whatever you plant, right? You know how they used to teach us to plant the little red bean in a styrofoam cup, and they put a little napkin with something, and you do that before you put it in the soil? Yeah, it is wise to do that with things like soca, any industry that you have that you need to protect in its infancy stage, or what you call the incubation stage. It's important, just like that red bean that you have to protect. The truth is also that if you try to leave that red bean in that cup, because like all of us did when we was in primary school, right? Remember when in Newton and they put the thing in the cup? All of we leave the red bean right in the cup, and we were so shocked to see when the red bean died. The red bean is going to die. It is going to die if you don't open it up and make it available. You know, give it soil and give it sunlight and leave it alone to fight up with the elements and grow. The truth is also that if you take 20 red bean, you put them through the incubation stage and you put all in the ground, all in will live. But the ones that live will live on to create more and more and more, and it will get better and better and better over time. But we seem to think that everything we have must remain in the incubation stage and must remain closed forever. And what that leads to is a substandard product. For the product to get better and better, you must open it to open competition. Competition not meaning like Soca Monarch and them thing. Competition meaning I selling one of this and you selling one of this, and you must figure out how to sell more of that than me. That's business. If you're protected for the whole life, it will never evolve. And it's one of the problems we have in the soca now. And why? Because we keep it in the incubation stage for the last 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 years, right? It's why we have a situation now where you could only have one or two soca artists who really have international recognition, or who could sell out a venue, a big venue somewhere. It is very, very difficult to see any of our local artists competing on an international stage. When you're looking at Kendrick Lamar going on a tour, 21 stadiums, probably 80-something thousand a night. 80-something thousand people coming out to see him. I'm not sure that we have any soca artists or any combination of soca artists who could sell out a stadium in the States for a genre that is going to be 100 years old, if it ain't past 100 and something years old already, right? So the idea of Kartel coming on a thing, I'm not sure why people are so upset. I guess I know why people are upset about it. But nobody more upset than Yankee Boy. Salute to Yankee Boy. Yankee Boy went and do the videos during Miami Carnival, because Yankee Boy is of the belief that when you have a carnival, you must only play music from Trinidad and Tobago, and you must only play soca music. this is one of the things I was saluting Scorch for. The fact that they made their 101 list. They didn't insulate it and try to make it a Trinidad list. It don't make sense to do that. If you're giving me the top soca, give me the top soca overall. You know what I mean? We must remember that Sparrow is a Grenadian. We must remember that Lord Nelson himself sings song that they treat him like a foreigner and tell him he can't enter competition. Now, Tobago born man, but because he's living in New York, he can't enter competition. We have to let go that mindset of trying to avoid competing with the rest of the world and keeping we little red bean in the cup forever and ever and ever. I salute Yankee Boy. I understand the fight that they're fighting because we at a stage where if you expose us to the cartels of the world, in other words, if you put Kartel on a Fantastic Friday, Kartel in concert, right, which is not that, and then you put, let me say, Soca Monarch or your next biggest show there, Kartel might pull the whole crowd. So meaning that Kartel is a superior product just by the laws of demand and supply. It would indicate to me that Kartel offering a superior product than the man who go any Friday night. But we had to allow these things to happen. We had to plant hundreds of red bean. So that when a few of them die, we have plenty of them that live on and continue to feed generations going forward. It's a difficult conversation to have sometimes because we tend to feel as if the more we close up is the more we protect what we have anymore. You cannot keep what you have. We have to let it go. You have to let go to let it grow. And we refuse to let it grow. And while I understand the fight that somebody like Yankee Boy facing, we must also understand that to be better, we have to get better as a genre. The artists have to get better, the writing must get better, the melodies, the production, it must get better. And I'm not saying that is not, but the only way for it to continue to advance is to continue to expose it. So I respect Yankee Boy a lot. I'm glad for what he's doing. He gone on a hunger strike. But anytime you start off announcing you have a hunger strike and you have to tape down your mouth with duct tape to say you're on a hunger strike, I don't think you're going to make it through the hunger strike. I think you have to be like the beginning of this episode. Human beings are greedy. If you had to tape down your mouth so that you could not eat for the sake of soca, Yankee Boy has something for you here. Don't put yourself through that. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
I wake up Christmas morning, I say I go in for longing. From the time I leave my home, I decide I'm faranging alone. I got to check out Susan first, to wish her a Merry Christmas. Before I could take a seat, she started buying me thing to eat. A roast pork, curry chicken, dal, crab and dumpling, pie, pastel. Eat something before you go.
Yankee Boy.
Eat something before you go. Eat something before you go. Eat something before you go.
I like what he's standing up for, you know, but that race gone.
When I say I gotta check Carol, she said no. Stay like we have a ball. It's only now you just pass through. This is why I prepare for you. You know today is Christmas Day. Anything you want to eat, just say. You could eat it right on through the bowl. Boy, make yourself at home. I have black cake, turkey, wild meat, lap and goatee, grapes, apples. Boy, come and sit round the table. Eat something before you go. Eat something
That's about it for me. As I say, I'm going to try and end this the right way second time around. As I say, it's Christmas time to be slow. Everybody home, all your children to see about, all your house to clean, curtains to put up and so on. I may or may not be here, but you go have a little thing to keep you company. The episodes to come is to keep you company while you're doing your cleaning and you're cooking and you, what else is do for Christmas? Come baby, eat something.
Eat something before you go. Eat something before you go.
I go record before I go. I go record before I go. I will see you all in next week. Enjoy the week. Bye bye.